Andy, first of all, he's a very good player. We all know that, and he loved being a Rough Rider. There's no question about that. It's a business decision. Obviously, Gil Scott was here all day yesterday, and I knew what was going on. As of this morning, I had no idea that he was going to go to Hamilton. Gil called me during Gene's press conference and told me, but you guys had already known that, like I did before that. So, it's a great thing for him to go back home and play. We wanted him back, but we got to move on. It's one of those things that happens in this business, and Winnipeg just went through it with their guys that they lost, and we're going to go through it with Andy and Gene today. So, it's just part of the gig, and I wish him well. He's a very good player, and he's a good guy.
Do you believe that maybe Hamilton gave him something? I heard your offer was very competitive, if not maybe more in terms of dollars, but they offered him maybe a little something that you can't, a few extra perks.
I don't know what that all means, to be honest with you, but I know that he was beloved here, and he had a lot of opportunities in the community to do a lot of things off the field and whatnot. And I think it's just a chance for him to go home, and he's close to Western Ontario where, maybe they play some games next year, who knows. But, I can't say that on behalf of Andy, but he knew what he had here, and he had a great group of teammates he played with, and I know it wasn't easy for him, but he moved on.
How do you fill those shoes now?
Well, that's a good question. Not easily. The one thing we're going to have to look at is probably playing an American in that position. So we're going to go and change the ratio up a little bit, but not easily. He's a very good player and one of the best Canadians, if not the best Canadian receiver in the league.
Almost had 1,000 yards last year playing a few games in that slot. Is he the answer in here?
He's one of the options we'll look at. We're going to sign 2 or 3 new imports, and I think this is a great opportunity for Rob Begg and Chris Getzlaff to really step up and make this part of their sort of shtick and make this a big opportunity for them to really step up and be the guys from their point of view. So we're going to be okay. We got Dressler still with that group, and we'll tinker with it, obviously, but I think it's a great opportunity for Chris and Rob. As much as it was frustrating from us, I'm sure it was frustrating for him, but that's just the business. We'd like to get it done, and we weren't able to, and obviously it doesn't surprise me too much that if it goes for 5 months, it's going to get to free agency, and once that happens, I sort of was prepared that this was going to happen. So, it just, the more it went on, the more you could see what was going to develop.
Now that he hasn't accepted that contract, what do you do with the fair amount of money that is now at your disposal? How can that be? Is there contract extensions?
Well, one of the things you have to do with the salary cap is it's almost changing on a daily basis, as you know, and I think the one thing we have to be prepared for, should this happen in September, there's some Canadian Football League guys in the NFL that if they get released, you got to save some room. So we'll be in a better position to do that, but we're obviously not looking for September to build our team. So we'll do it accordingly, and there's some guys we'll probably try to extend their contracts on. I can think of one guy in particular, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, is that could that money go to Mr. Durant?
Well, you don't really want your quarterback playing out in your option, like I've said. So we're going to work on that, obviously, once we get through this period. But there's other people who's important. The last 2 days have been quite interesting. You're on a pretty big high when you get Labatt and Picard and Paul, and then 24 hours later, you still think you have a chance to get Andy, and the next thing you know, Gene and Andy are leaving. It's like, holy smokes. So it's the way the business goes. You get some good days and you get some bad ones, but you got to react and respond and move on.